We're speaking with Keith Girouard from the Mass Small Business Development Center Network. I'm John Krol, and it was something that people sometimes get hung up on, Keith, a little bit, is simply choosing a name for your business. Seems simple, and seems like something maybe that can be derived from inspiration, but people have a tough time with it, don't they?
They do. They struggle with it, and some get pretty anxious about it and trying to figure out what a good name is. And some people will say, some advertisers will say, it's the most important marketing decision you'll make, because everywhere your name appears, it's creating an impression. So whether it's business cards or shirts or banners or billboards, your name conveys an impression, and it's important.
Indeed. And so looking at that, what are some of the key factors that people ought to be thinking about when doing it? I mean, there could be a simple solution, that is name it after yourself with your own literal name, or it can be much more strategic.
Sure. People name it after themselves just simply because they don't want to infringe on somebody else's name or some that they've registered. But other than that, it doesn't provide much marketing oomph for you. So here's some suggestions on what would go into a good name. A good name would be something that's easy to say, easy to remember, and easy to write, because people, believe it or not, still write. So easy to say, easy to remember, and easy to write.
Or at least type, anyway.
Well, they type, yes. And they're going to put it in their calendar or in their book, so you really want to pay attention to that. Sort of a second tier of consideration is a good name would give you some idea of what the business is about, and a hint about what you could expect, you could receive, enjoy, or experience if you go to that business. I'll give you an example. In South County, there is a business called Quick Print. Now, if you never heard of that business before, you have an idea what it does and what you can expect. So that would be sort of an example of a good name.
Indeed. So it sounds like it's a combination of things, that there's got to be some function to it that helps you. And actually, it kind of fits into the whole marketing realm when it comes to websites and having keywords attached to things. So if you have a name that actually suggests what you do, and it's intuitive in that way, then it makes a lot more sense, and it can be helpful for you.
Sure, and that's a great example of another consideration when you're thinking about a good name. Now, I have an exercise for people to help them choose a name, and if you, okay,
sure.
So I'll just go for it.
Let's do it, Keith.
Okay, great. Just take a piece of paper and put like 4 columns on it. All right, so the first part of it is just a brainstorming creative exercise. The first column, and oh, by the way, just try to get 20 or 30 words in each of the columns. The first column is nouns. So let's say you had a landscaping business, right? Okay, so you could put trees and lawn and gardens and flowers and things like that. And you could get creative and wild as you go forward. And, yeah, okay, there's no judgment being made on the words at this point. The second one would be verbs. Prune, cut, mow, seeding, cultivate, whatever those words might be. The third column could be adverbs or adjectives. So quick, expert, famously, those kinds of things. And the last is the benefit that someone would receive, enjoy, or experience if they were to have your services. So that might be beautiful, magic, whatever, pride. All right, once you have all those, then you go to step 2. And step 2 is you go and you circle the words or combinations of words that you like. Try to come up with about 5. If you come up with 6 or 7, that's fine, or 4, but around 5. Now, once you have those 5, then you can take those 5 and talk to 10 people that you know, 10 people who might be customers, and ask them to rank order each one of those. 1 being their favorite, 5 being their least favorite. Once you collect all that, then you can take a look, and now you have a really good source of information for selecting a good name, because you've gone through a creative brainstorming process, right? You've gone through a process of selecting the words that you have a personal affinity to, that you like, that you enjoy. And the last part, which is really important, you've done your own sort of mini focus group. So if you go through that process, you'll probably end up with some pretty good ideas for what a good name would be.
And so that sounds like a great start to choosing the right name. We're speaking with Keith Girouard from the Mass Small Business Development Center Network. I'm John Krol. We will continue the conversation after this.